All right. Good evening. Hello, Bogalusa, Louisiana. I am glad to see you guys tonight. I'm going to do things a little bit different than what you are accustomed to me doing. People who know me know I prefer to stick to the facts, try to give you guys content and information that you can go look up. And tonight, things will not be different. So, when I posted that tonight was going to be an expose, if you and it was unfiltered. If you are getting on here believing that I'm going to start cussing and fussing and a whole lot of other stuff. I will not be doing those things. However, I am going to tell you guys a story. I'm going to tell you opinions and I'm going to share some facts. Now, some of the facts that I'm going to share, I'm not really sure if the information is publicly available or if it will remain publicly available after tonight. But of course, I will be able to share that information to the Let's Talk Bogalusa podcast page. In addition, this video will be available on YouTube following tonight's segment. So if there are people who are not on Facebook, sorry, the stream was not allowing me to connect to the Facebook page, so they won't be able to see it until after the video airs. I posted a message a few days ago that indicated I had been asked to stop telling the public to vote no on tomorrow. So tomorrow is May 3rd. It is the day to vote for the millage, the 6.43 mills. And I'm sure in 10 years' time, this is probably the most you guys have heard about taxes. The 12.12 mills that pays most of that pays the sales tax stipends that go out. And I'm still very disgruntled about the fact that the uncertified teachers did not receive all of their sales tax payment to my knowledge. I don't know if that was corrected, but I do know that we need to begin to look into all of these folks that have no type of certification whatsoever, and they receive every dime of their money, from counselors to music teachers and paras, and it's a lot of people in this system that Bogle City Schools is a major employer in the area. A lot of money funnels through those schools, and a lot of people aren't certified. I'm not talking about the janitors or the cafeteria workers because, of course, they're the lowest tiered people on the scale. But I am talking about people who know they're not certified and they're in a position to be certified. I'm talking about people who have certifications and they're not working in those areas because the certifications are, you know, they could obtain something better, but they're misusing certification as a method. And this has been going on in Bogle City Schools prior to the current superintendent's tenure, where there's a misappropriation of entry level certifications or certifications for certain industries that are being overpaid. That's a human resource issue. They should not be compensated at the level that they're compensated at. And they know it's wrong, but they're doing it because these people are connected. So I'm going to get into it because, of course, I'm limited on time with the application that I'm using, and I got quite a bit to go through. So if you tuned in for a different vibe from me, tonight's story is Greensburg Grifters hit Bogalusa City Schools. Justice for our kids now. And justice for our kids looks like a new school board because they are clearly letting these things happen. If they listen, if they paid attention, if they did their job as a board and looked at these financial transactions, they would clearly see what I see. I'm hoping following tonight's story that those school board members, like Miss Bro, who said they have no problem contacting the ethics commission, that they do as they said, because again, I can provide these details. And a lot of this stuff is public. There is no way. No possible way that these things are happening in our system and they're not happening with the aid of people in the system. It's totally impossible. So I'm going to start. You guys have heard me talk about this CJL IT Solutions, and it's supposed to be a information technology company. If you go on the website that you see listed, very few details out there about this company. Considering that they had several contracts with Bogalusa City Schools, and it's my understanding that they renewed a contract. Now I have a public records request in prior to the alleged supposed end of the first year contract, asking the details, the request for proposal for a second year of activities, which should look different than a first year proposal. But of course, as always, public records request has been in for weeks. You saw me with the public records request asking about a few things they've done, and they have not answered me for a reason. Because, as I've told you, the company is managed by Roderick Matthews. Greensburg, what I tell y'all, everybody in this story is connected through this one little town, St. Helena. So this is from the Louisiana Secretary of State, not maligning anybody, not saying things that are not public record. So who is Roderick Matthews? Well, we if you know, you know. If you know, you know, he's the guy pictured here who, in class of 96, isn't that our superintendent right there? With Roderick Matthews? And they politely gave their school $1,996. This was a challenge that was also put to Bogalusa City Schools. And the superintendent said, y'all ate him alive when he did this. And of course he did, because we don't have the ability to, use Bogalusa City School funds to give Bogalusa City School kids the money. If I choose to give my class amount to them, I got to work for it. I got to come up with it out of my pocket or get a couple of my classmates together to do it. But hey, CJL IT Solutions is not Renika making this up. The man and Dr. Hurst are classmates. Now, for those of you who don't know, part of my background is to be a technical resource to our contracting people in my job. I am trained. I don't currently hold a certification because I really didn't need it, but I've had years of federal acquisition training. I still take training. I need to go back in possibly and get certified again. But when you see me at the mic asking about these contracts, trust and believe that I'm not blind with the questions. These questions do come from a federal perspective, but state or federal, some things you just do because you do. Now, right now, I have access to two contracts, but there have been more, and we're going to get into that. So, the first contract that they gave CJL IT Solution, and in the spirit of transparency, at the time these contracts were awarded, my relatives, my sister, was acting in the role of technology director at the school. But the contracts were signed by Dr. Hurst, a friend. So generally, when that happens, if I know somebody that I'm related to, somebody that I have a friendship with, I usually have to do uh, a document indicating that I am not in a position to sign these contracts because the appearance is bad. Especially when I have intimate knowledge of the details of what they're going to be looking for, or I'm managing people. It's just, you just don't give your friends the school system's money. Now, if y'all gonna give y'all school 1996, yeah, you would. But you generally do a conflict of interest. You do a conflict of interest form. And I just can't believe that we have people on staff that have worked in Bogle City Schools 30 years or more, and they did not ask for a conflict of interest. But the first contract, and they broke these up because by their rules, their decision, 50,000, I think 49,000 something. They tried to say, oh, you can do it as a sole source. No, sole source indicates that there you believe there's one person who can do the job. That person has experience. They're the cheapest. I've seen none of that, and I've asked for all that. I asked for the RFP. I asked for the sole source justification. Basically, I asked for the emails between them for the transaction so I could find out. But essentially, there's no reason why this contract should have been signed. But these two contracts, sorry, between our superintendent and his friend, his classmate. No reason why that should have happened. And again, I just can't believe that we have people that do that. So now here we go. The key to the second contract, the 45,000 one, they paid this man $19,000 before he did a lick of work. A lick of work. The initial assessment and needs assessment fee will be paid up front for $19,000. Now, I rarely ever see where we give you $19,000 to do what? Let's go back to it. We're gonna go back to it. So that's in the 42,000 one because the 7,500 it's kind of like the same services. You're supposed to document disaster recovery and business continuity. I asked for the documents because, of course, Rika knows what this should look like. I don't know Bogle City School schema and layout, but I know what a disaster recovery plan should look like. And especially when we just came off of COVID, there are so many things that can happen in the area when it comes to weather related issues. You should be able to see where they fell over to. You should be able to see plans to invoke virtual days. I mean, all of this kind of stuff is necessary in a disaster recovery plan. So I certainly know what I'm talking about. And for those of you, who was a slick person that said, they little STEM center, I have a master's degree in information technology and I'm a PhD candidate. Thank you so much. So if we go over here to this second one, though, initial assessment 10-5. Now you already have supposedly developed a disaster recovery and business continuity. What assessment, what initial, what other assessment? Now these are two separate contracts. So what they tried to do was break the money up. That's illegal. You're not supposed to do that. And the contracts overlap with each other, so there's some days that elapse. So they're basically two contracts that I have access to that are in the same time frame. So 10-5, 8-5 for a needs assessment. So 19,000 right here. Solution and design. Haven't seen a solution, IT solution and design. Haven't seen any of this. Vendor evaluation. Evaluation of what? What? Of the network? You should have did that. How did you come up with a disaster recovery plan and you got to come back on the back end and look at the evaluation? You got to look at what the network looks like. You got to look at the infrastructure needs. You got to look at the various schools and the bandwidth they can handle. And it's just crazy. Data security and privacy. Y'all have heard me. These people have done so many things. I mean, when you used the J Campus tool to send out a request for parents and people in the community to vote, you should have known better than that in your data security and privacy plan that you are not authorized to do that. And there's a couple other instances in here that we're gonna talk about that's these things don't make any sense. So basically, Bogalusa City Schools gave CJLT in these two contracts, because we're gonna get into some more, $49,500. So they tried to kind of sort of shimmy under the limit by saying that, hey, we broke these up. No. That it's not how it works. Now, do you hear me, board? Do you hear me? Do you hear me asking you to have somebody look into this? Because in the February 2024 meeting, when they had the audit presented, they had Becky Hammonds in there from Hammonds and Seals. And, Dr. Hurst tried to say, oh, we're being transparent. Everything's so good. We're not stealing the money. And that lady was very clear when she said, you very well could be stealing the money. Well, the way audits work, they're kind of paper drills. I mean, they randomly select things to look at to see if you're violating the rules, but they're not a forensic audit. They're not an in-depth audit. They're not in there doing things looking to see about relationships. They're going to look to see, do you have documentation on this company? And we're going to get into some of that too, where some of that wasn't had. But these type of things aren't going to be had. And you can see the people were bold with it. Now, we're gonna look at this CJL because his name is Roderick Matthews. That's the company. Now the man's sister name is Carla, and her husband is Julian, and their last name Lowe. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I think it's a coincidence, but it's mighty funny that their initials match the company's name. Mighty funny, mighty funny. But hey, y'all can go look that up. That's public record. So now, why, Renika, why
So
you
now all
keep
the
bringing
staff
up
came
this
together, and no
man,
matter who we asked to do.
sister? Why you out here dragging for her? Well, I'm really not dragging for her because turns out, I told you that's an IT company, right? Well, turns out back in June of last year, and I'm gonna play the clip. We right coming off of graduation, coming off of the controversy. I'm just gonna put it out there surrounding the class of 2024. We coming up on graduation again. It's been, the chatter around me has been quiet, but the weather was bad, so the kids were afraid that they weren't gonna graduate outside, and then parents were chattering in the background about who graduated and how and where, and kids not being able to walk. So our superintendent addresses the board, the people that we voted in that need to be voted out, and anybody who connected to them who has not been coming to the school board meeting, which is a whole lot of people because ain't nobody been coming for the last 3 years, need to be highly scrutinized and questioned about how they're going to prevent these type of things from happening in the future. But I'm going to play this clip from you for you, coming from the June 2024
One, help
meeting.
our parents, and two, make sure that students are accountable for keeping up with things that they have. We recently, this week, did a transcript audit for all our seniors. We had some discrepancies last year. I'm just being transparent with the public, with some of our seniors. So I ensured that going into this school year, at least every senior that entered on that campus will make sure they know where they are and what classes they need to graduate. And we're going to meet with each senior and their parent to break it down. Because I don't want to get to graduation and we find out that a kid needed this class or this class and it was our fault. It's another thing if a kid just refused to do it, but we want the parent and the student to be on the same page at the beginning of the year, because the expectation is if you don't meet the requirements, you will not march. Because it's not right for this kid who meet the requirements to march, and this kid who chose not to, for whatever reason, didn't do their work or didn't come to school and expect to march. We got to raise the expectation. And that's how we're going to have a gold medal year. And I want every student to walk across that stage. And we're going to have audit checks in August. We just did one this week. We're going to do it again in August and in January. And another good thing, we're going to have credits. We used to do 4-year credits. This year, the team changed. Kids can get half credits. And there was some of our issues that we realized that we needed to change in the district, because our surrounding districts give half credits, meaning that kid may take the course for the whole year, but in December they get half credit, as opposed to having finished the whole year before they get a credit at all. So when the kid would go to St. Tammany or Washington Parish, they give half credits, but because we don't, they will lose that course. So that's something we had to fix internally, and we have done that to better support our students. And last thing, we did get a complaint to the state from a concerned citizen, which is valued, and we understand that. And I'm just letting the board know I provided a response to the state. And they read the response, and they fact-checked us, and they said they are fine with what we responded with. They think we are doing a good job. They say, we understand you are not perfect. No system in the state is perfect. Keep doing the great work, because they see what Bogalusa was and what we're trying to get, and they commend us for the work that we're doing moving forward. And we're going to continue to improve on those practices and processes every single day. When we see a deficiency, we're going to do things to correct it. Are we perfect? No, we're not, but we're striving for that gold medal, and we're going to get that together as one happy community and school system.
So Yeah, I complained. I complained about fines and fees, and that was earlier in the video. I'll put the whole clip up on the Let's Talk page. But yeah, your girl complained. Yeah, I complained to the Department of Education. This was last year. You know, after the way they did the uniforms, I see they've tried to correct that and come out with it a little bit earlier. But we deserve a 90-day notice of changes, and just putting it up on Facebook is not meeting the requirement. Them fines and fees where they sent y'all those documents, that unsigned letter, you know, basically a demand letter saying pay up or not. And, you know, you'll see in the video talking about the insurance, and parents have complained that they hadn't been able to use the insurance this year. It's a lot to that. But let's go back to this. Renika, why is this so important that our superintendent, you know, he got out here and he wanted to make sure that the kids could be able to graduate and look, and somebody come in here and look in their records. Well, hmm, before your arrival, we experienced some transcript issues, and this is a verified email, and I can request this email from Bogalusa City Schools, which I plan to do because all of their emails are public records because they're done on the taxpayer's dime. So this was sent to someone, and it says, I remember that when he tries to tell you that everybody else did it. He said, as a result, I contracted with CJL IT Solutions LLC to conduct in-depth audits of all incoming senior transcripts. I mean, transparency. Did he tell the board that he was going to use CJL IT Solutions to come in and do an education audit? Now, y'all saw that I have a public records request in asking for this contract. See, they don't want to tell you how much they gave them to do this. This was in June of last year. So it's not covered in the 7,500 and the statement of work on the task they were supposed to do in that. All that's IT tasks. It's not covered in the 42.5. All that's IT tasks. Where is the contract saying that they were going to use an IT company who, what, you know, what's these people's background to be able to hire somebody to do a educational audit of your kids' records? Where? But I contracted with CJL IT Solutions. Right now, anybody in the finance department who should have seen that you're trying to use the IT company to do a desk audit of transcripts, scorecards. What background do these people have? Now I done told y'all CJL. So who you think he brought in here? Who do you think they cleared out Bogalusa High School for? Oh, yeah, you know, cleared out, gave them a space. The audit started June 13th. It ended on June 10th. It ended on the 13th. Who do y'all think? Who of the CJL? Yeah, yeah. C came in here. C came in here and do it. What y'all think they did with all this money? I told y'all about the 1960s. They done threw the man away. And the man in the wedding. We gotta be some of the dumbest people on the planet. The man that took the 19 racks that they paid him up front, the wedding paid for. You know, we gotta be slow. Why, Bogalusa? Why? But we ain't worried about this. Oh, Renika, you know, she's so why she keep going up there and she doing all this, not because Renika is not dumb to the situation. But this is a story that Renika telling you, you know, this she, you know, she oh my God, she just out to get the people, and she just, I mean, it's a vendetta. It is not a vendetta. It is wanting our system to stop being used, and we're not getting anything in 10 years time. How much have our scores gone up? Barely. We have been a consistent 60s. I want our children to get the education they deserve for the money that is being spent. No, I'm not trying to pay for CJL IT Solutions, which again, they have renewed the contract. So these people are not doing this stuff without help. Board, school board, 7 members, you know, who like to look crazy when I'm talking to you. Could you please look into this? Because this is facts, not fiction. Facts. Now they done paid for the man wedding, or they in the wedding, because there go the rest of the crew. Hey, the desk audit by the IT company in the man wedding. So we got friend number one, CJL. We got the sister, the sister, the sister, and we got Dr. Hurst. We got the key to them. Okay, so then let's keep moving. So then they got another company. So Renika's like, who this other company? ICT. I don't know who these folks are. I know this. I know that all of these people got a connection to this ICT too. See, they all connected. So at the time they gave ICT a contract. What to say? Not in good standing. Not in good. Now, if you go on the Secretary of State website right now, all of a sudden in March they got in good standing, but their last report was 1/2/24. So all of 2024 not in good standing. They didn't get in good standing until March 10th, 2025. Now, what does this mean? This means that our contracting people let these folks get a contract to do work for Bogalusa City Schools when they weren't compliant. What is this? What is going on here? You telling me nobody checked for this is a $94,000 contract. 94,000. And I can only imagine the quality of work because yeah, I seen your IT staff. I mean, I like them, they cool people, but if you are of the mindset that you can just parlay one of them on into the spot, you're sorely mistaken. Let them stick to videotaping meetings and running around because at this point somebody should have been reporting to y'all that it was a problem because see Roderick Matthews, his full-time job is with the Homeland Security for St. Helena Parish. Bogalusa City Schools hours are what, from 9 to 5? Ain't you Homeland Security from 9 to 5? Maybe some after hours. Now how you doing both? You telling me that the people that work there in Bogalusa City Schools at IT, we got bandwidth issues. We of course got Chromebook issues because them Chromebooks broke. We got all these issues that need to be documented. We got web pages that I asked for, and all they got up is a hyperlink. I had to send them back and say that you are non-compliant with the state statute. You are missing the following. Then they threw up some documents in 2014. It's still not compliant. And technically, your contracts do not even contain the proper language to give these people access. Now, ITC's contract looked a little bit better than CJL, but CJL had no clause in that contract indicating any third-party vendors would be in there. Now, that's a little bit more to the story that I'm gonna hold back on because this gonna blow up, and when it blow up, they're not gonna be able to call me a liar. You're not gonna be able to sue me because this is a story. This is my opinion, but I can back it up with some facts. So now, hmm, I know a whole lot more than you probably think I know, because I wouldn't have this if I know. Now I'm just gonna say this. This was paid to one of the players in the story from ITC. One of the players got this little check, non-employee compensation, after all the contracts got signed. Now, we ain't gonna get into who, but we know who. We know who it belonged to. One of the players got a nice little check after the contracts got signed and paid. So now what exactly does all of that mean? Well, a lot of accusation out there in all of this. Well, Rebecca, what you think they did with all the money? What exactly do you think they did with all the money? Well, I'm gonna show you what they did. They ain't just paid for the wedding. These folks, I cannot make this stuff up. They don't went on a Tyler Perry type vacation. Oh, they Bogalusa City Schools is funding more than just these extracurricular activities that these kids is doing, baby. We out here full time paying for the big time trips. Now, y'all, if you know me, you know your girl stay gone. Stay gone. So I ain't one to get mad at nobody. So between the $16,000 checks for sales tax checks, but you won't pay the uncertified teachers, but you're paying these other uncertified people. Between the $5,000 they both city schools gave them as a bonus for being a C school at a low 60, when we've been a low 60 for a decade. And a low 60 used to be a D. So in 2017, when they changed how this happened, it became a C, the 5,000. Rewriting the contract for the 15 unpaid sick days that they, played around with. Human resource ain't want, you don't want to talk about that out loud. I had to request the contract twice because I requested the contract and I guess it was on the agenda. So I assumed that you would give me all iterations of the contract, meaning the previous contract, and give me a copy of the proposed changes. No, you just sent me the previous. And then when I get in a meeting, that's when you find out the 15 sick days getting paid, and the board is extending the contract for 2 years. Hello, board, you are held accountable for this. When Renika is filing complaints, but you need to be filing complaints. You need to be asking your people. So the folks then took the money, honey. They done glammed out. Black people, what they say? We'll find a way to coordinate. We'll find a way to coordinate. That's teal green. That's some of that money green of ours. That's our good BCS money, all tied up in this. But this ain't it. This ain't all. I mean, it looks bad because it is bad. It looks bad because it is bad. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Now, oh Lord, have mercy. The Bailey Group. Why? Why? This them folks, what, second year coming up in here with them good crawfish, and this year they said they added crabs. Well, let's take a little second. We're gonna move over, because you see the thing about that situation that's just like irking me, because I've been trying to figure it out. I go over to the schools and they like the Bailey Group, and I'm saying, what exactly do these people do? Now, I put y'all on to this Louisiana Department of Treasury website. And the purpose of this website is that the state is trying to be a little bit more transparent in these contracts, the things Renika argues about, the money. So we are in the contract section. So if you at home and you go back to the website, I want you to go to contract. Now I want you to type in the Bailey Group. Cause see, it's been bothering me. Now, if you look on this website for the Bailey Group, according to let's go back because this is important. All data provided to the Louisiana Department of Treasury by each respective school system. The last date this was updated was 23 April 2025. Now, you heard me talk about it in the school board meeting. You heard me talk about it on the Bogalusa City Schools rebirth. I've been posting it. So if you look at this, according to this, Bogalusa City Schools had 3 contracts with the Bailey Group. All of them contract begin date 7/1/2024, 6/30/2025. I have asked for these contracts and ask for these contracts, because I'm like, what these people supposed to come in here and do that's so spectacular for us? Well, let's see if we can get this to do what it's supposed to do. So I'm thinking, as I'm looking at this, I'm gonna move over a little bit, and hopefully this becomes clear. So if you let me go up a little bit more. Hold on one second. I'm moving a little bit too fast. I'm too excited. Too excited to tell y'all a story. So, still didn't go over enough. So I don't know exactly how beneficial this has been. Somebody in the system would have to tell me a little bit more. But what I am going to tell you is we been a fool for this group. For 4 sacks of crawfish and a box of crab legs. Look at this. Look at this. Now this Bogalusa City Schools right here. So, but like y'all, Renika, oh, she just extra with it, and she just this now 45,000, 181,000, and 135,000. That's what, about 350,000. Isn't that what I've been telling y'all? But the thing that stood out to me is ain't nobody else giving these folks that kind of money. Ain't nobody else paying these people like that. Maybe look, one for Plaquemines, one ongoing, but ain't nobody else giving them $350,000. Why free. And I told you there is no possible way this man is doing this. And you telling me that we got a whole squad of people over there in the finance department. And you telling me now one of them, purpose, professional development of teachers. What is it, 100 and some thousand each school? Come on. Why do you need 3 contract vehicles for this? And why this kind of money? And all they had to give y'all to rob our kids was 4 sacks of crawfish and some crab legs. Miss me on that. Miss me on that. We lost social emotional learning professionals because they said ESSA money was running out and they weren't gonna pay them positions no more. And our kids suffer from mental health. We lost. We got no hot water gym. I have told y'all, if you go to the auditorium, you put your life on the line trying to sit in a seat. If we had paid $200 a seat, 100 to buy the seat, and 100, let's say 100 and labor to fix the seats, it would have been this money. What did we get for this? Why do we have 3 contracts for this? School board members, ethics committee, Louisiana legislative auditor, somebody, the representative, the state that's on here. Somebody tell me why? Why? Because we had money to spend, and this was what you chose to do with it? Come on, bruh. Miss me on that. Miss me on that for real. Go look it up. Don't just take my word for it. Go to that transparency website. Type in Bailey Group. And look and see. Nobody else. Nobody is giving these folks that kind of money. Nobody. Nobody. It's just wow. Just crazy. I mean, I don't know what it is about us that we like this. I don't know if it's just that we try to pretend we don't know the 50 million other things that's going on in the school. I heard that on yesterday, they was missing a whole bunch of teachers that they had to put the kids in the gym. People probably are getting on. They probably are skedaddling because they probably starting to see what it is. But I'm gonna go back to this site. I had to transition out. You can go on here on this transparency site. Now, this is what they're sharing, and you can look and see a lot of these contracts out here. What I tell y'all about that strategic plan? What I tell y'all about that? $120,000. Miss me on that. Miss me on that for what's in it. They said that they looked at stakeholders, and the only people naming there is the people that work in there. There was no notification in any meetings. I don't know who they reached out to. I don't know when, where, and why. 7 mindsets, that kind of works. I don't know if it's worth that kind of money. I mean, I'd have to look it up for other people, but here we go. Here we go. Now, what's this? 39,000. 428.88. Now I can only show you on paper the $7,000 contract and the 7,500 and the 42. What's this 39 428.88 for? Because they won't give that up. Won't give it up to save their life. School board, can you please answer? What's this 39 428? Have y'all seen the contract? Finance department, can y'all help a sister out? Tell me what's going on here? Because y'all, I have asked and asked and asked and asked and asked, and you act like you can't hear me. This CJL. So what's the 39? Because this just showed up. Because prior to this wasn't out there. We paying what? Carl Riggs Ingram 68.7 for the audit, for them to just look at stuff. Okay. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Uh Hold on. I got you. I got you. If you scroll through this, I'm not sure if I'm full screen. Let me see. I can't see it when I'm full screen like that. Sorry, y'all, but don't worry. You can go right on in here and you can see yourself, all these contracts that got loaded. Because the first couple times I did it, you could barely find anything. So let's see. I'm trying to look and see some of these comments out here. I'm gonna take a breather because I'm just heated. I'm just hot. Y'all make it seem like I am just out to get people. No, I'm a thorough person, It matters to me because I do believe we have very good people that work in our system. I really do. I know some of these people. Some of them I probably couldn't get along with if I had to work with them. They probably couldn't get along with me because I'm a very strong personality, or I've been let go from situations before. Let's not, me and some people done dusted it up, and I had to go my way, and they had to go their way, and we probably ain't never spoke again. So yeah, that part. So people have strong personalities, but I'm gonna tell you right now, we need a we need to look into this. We need to care. Now y'all gonna get up and go vote tomorrow. Vote however you choose. I'm over it. I'm over it. You're gonna vote next year for a new board. Now you see what this one is doing. They do not care. They don't care. They don't care. All they keep saying is, they behind this man 100%. So I hold them 100% accountable because I've tried. Will a man rob God? Will a man, maybe one of them can hear me now. Will a man rob God? You ain't supposed to do that. So we ain't God, but we ain't supposed to get robbed either. Our children are not supposed to be the opportunity and a springboard for trips, weddings, enriching other school systems. It's a lot of stuff. Sole source justifications. I mean, come on, you sole sourcing a lot of money to your people. And we just clap, that something is said, and we like train monkeys. Oh, it's so great. Oh my God. We are adults, and we need to advocate for our kids. Now everybody not gonna question everything to the level that I do, but it's a lot of y'all out there know your kids are being done a disservice in this system. It should not be that in the year of our Lord 2025, it's acceptable for you to go off to school and not be prepared. It should not be acceptable that well, people go and they just don't get it, and the school, you going to college without the proper tools from high school puts you in a financial bind. College is not free. And the way things are going now, you might have to come out of pocket more. So many more kids not going to go. And even if we try to push them to trades, even if we, the meal is not going to absorb a good bit of them. I've heard positive things from some parents about the meal right program, and their children did it, and they got the $14, $15 an hour, but their children had no intentions of working at the mill or working in a plant. These were highly higher functioning children. But there are people here that are electricians. There are people here that are plumbers. In that school, how many more t-shirt makers, t-shirt pushers do we really need in Bogalusa? Do we really need more people making t-shirts? Because they seem proud that they cranking out t-shirt makers. And I just don't understand it. For the love of God, I don't understand it. Our kids are on an app for foreign language. They can't keep a foreign language teacher. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of teachers that's going to get ghosts after this year because of the working conditions, because we have an apathetic board that, the pictures look good, everything is all good. No, 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 no. I mean, shoot, if you look at me behind this wall, my house is an absolute zoo. It's an illusion. A zoo. I'm looking for a housekeeper. It's an absolute zoo. So things can look one way, but it's our job as adults to look into it. And I'm telling you right now, this stuff did not happen. It didn't happen. It did not happen without, well, them sweaters, the outfit, the uniform. It did not happen. It did not happen without collusion. Now, I don't know what level of input all of these people have into all this money, but hey, they was quick to be in uniform to show their solidarity. Well, let them speak up now. Board, ask them. Ask them. How do you sign a contract with your friend with no conflict of interest forms? I know y'all take ethics training. How do you know that your friend is going to hire your sister through a company that match her and her family members initials and not think it's a problem? How you going to have your other friend? I don't even, maybe I skipped a picture, but it's another friend with the ICT in here. They all, it's just crazy that we are allowing this and we are okay with it. And before anybody come to jump down my throat, oh, maybe they ain't know. This man knew. This man knew. He knew. He knew. He don't work at the Department of Education. Because remember, he told you I complained. The part about the complaint he didn't tell you is the answer that he gave back to the people that was totally fictitious. And it's out there on Both City Schools Rebirth. I might pull it back up. He claimed that in March meeting of last year, They voted on these things. It was never on any agenda. They ain't vote on no uniforms. They've never voted. Their fines and fee schedule is from 2014. It's so many other things I wanted to get into tonight. Like, I have a request in about these stipends. See, the only stipends that's attached to the pay scale is the stipends for the coaches. And that's even questionable because we know for a fact one teacher was the teacher, the coach, the bus driver, the da 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 da. But when you on the salary scale, it don't show all them jobs. It don't show all that work. And it's a stipend for each one of those coaching positions. I ain't even got into, somebody asked, well, who gets to be a 12-month employee versus who is a this month employee? Um, uh-oh. Who is it? I don't know. I can't tell you nothing because that's a human resource. Human resources. You telling me you got a human resource person and they not looking at the fact that you got one person in three jobs getting it because the according to the policy, the stipend schedule is with human resource. You telling me they hiring all these people over there and coming through human resources and ain't no red flags kind of going off like whoop de whoop, what, why, who, what. You got all these positions. Now, one of the contracts that was out there was this salary study. Now, I got the contract for the salary study. They paid like $22,000 or something for this salary study, but they won't give up the salary study. Now, by law, you're supposed to give it up because you paid to use taxpayer dollars. It's been finished. It's been finished. So they know what kind of money they paying out in salaries because the budget is what I told y'all, $29.5 million in revenue. That does not mean they don't have expenses. They have millions of dollars in expenses. Especially like they say with older schools, they leak air, they pay all this money for these extracurricular activities and all this other kind of stuff. So they have expenses, but salaries being the biggest part of it. Um oh uh oh of it is big time. So since we talking about salaries, let's see. Question. Let me scroll up um and see what some of these questions are. So it says, wasn't your sister over IT? For a while she was, but hey, my sister don't get treated like other people's sisters. Oh no, see, my sister, she problematic because she just might be telling me something. And the big thing about it is my sister and I honestly rarely talked about the school system because we had differing views. I mean, it happens on, what things look like and where they were going. I have my take on it from, my professional standpoint. She had her take on it from her professional standpoint. And I mean, that was none of these folks' business. But, while they over there trying to figure out who telling me, what's really wild about that? What did the girl say? Oh, I come in there with my little camera and I this and that. Well, see, what I do is I do when I miss a meeting, I try to download the audio and I video for a reason because I don't want to misrepresent some people. And I have done that once. I asked for something, which I asked for how Brilliant Minds got a bus, and I had to go back and listen and figure out that what I thought I heard, I did not hear. It was something else said. So, I have to go back and I listen. And then I put in public records requests because I don't want to misrepresent information. They should be given information. So, but yes, my sister at one time was over IT. She is not over information technology anymore that I'm aware of at Bogle City Schools. And, there's just a piece of that puzzle that I would love to give y'all, but it's not my piece to give. She, that would be totally up to her if she wants to disclose how she has been treated, how things have gone, who's been the mastermind behind some of this stuff. Because trust me when I tell you, this man ain't just coming here doing this. This been going on, We all know, just like the other stuff that's an open secret. We all been knowing this stuff been going on for years, but who just had the bandwidth in the background to really look into it and dig? So it didn't start with this man. Let's see. Question: how is it that the band director, football coaches, baseball coach, assistant director, and a track coach are 12-month employees, but the basketball coach and others are 9 and 10-month employees? Well, who in them jobs? Are they liked? Let's see. Let's go back. Who's sitting in them positions? So I mean, a lot of times it's, I mean, go along to get along, or I don't know what their logic is behind that. You'd have to ask human resources, but I would say, unfortunately, I don't know all of these people to know who they are. I know the football coach, because I did some things for the football team the other day. I know the band director. But I don't know, and that's a very good question, and perhaps they'll address it because the man told me to put it on the podcast, so it's on the podcast. So they'll be taking the midnight train to Georgia, and I hope them folks don't try to be silly with it and try to give people a platform, because I will give them all of this stuff so that they can lay it out, because I have no intentions of interviewing them. Mr. Austin told me that if it's some wrongdoing, something will be done. Well, I hope you take that same zest and zeal and you go on over there and you call up them school board members and you tell them to do their job and look into these allegations. And I hope Miss Bro go on and file them ethics complaints so that we can find out from the ethics if you should have done a conflict of interest, or you should not have been signing contracts for people that you know good and darn well that you got connections, insider connections. I mean, I don't know what these people knew of these people before they got into it. Somebody said, what's going on with the stipends? I don't know if I answered that or not. I don't know. They hadn't given me the full stipend list because I showed y'all that they got two pay scales out there. They got one pay scale that's posted on the finance department website. I sent y'all the link to it on Bogle City Schools Rebirth, and I'll put it on Let's Talk Bogalusa page if they haven't taken it down. um so I put it up there, but they may have tried to finagle it and take it down. The IT squad, they probably calling them to try to remove documents. And then if you go in and you look at the was it June of last year? I got a link up to that. If you look at what the board actually voted on for pay, I was very transparent with you guys that if you notice certain positions, they do not have their sales tax amount listed. And this time they paid out at 200%. So when I give you the 16,000, that's based on knowing what the previous superintendent's sales tax amount amount was. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. People are telling me I have more questions. Do I don't know. um Let me go back. See, that's what happens when you're an IT person and you don't move. These kids want to clerk. Let's see. I don't see any other questions. I see. Was your sister qualified for the position? My sister has a master's degree in information technology. Let's see, as far as qualified, I mean, she has the education, she has the background. It's one of the reasons why it's been very important to us to try to get the STEM Center off the ground. It's not to be in competition with anybody, it's not to take over anything anybody else has done. It is because, and I repeatedly say this, we are products of Bogalusa City Schools. We are where we are today because of the education we received. It's one of the reasons why I educated my children here. My sister educated her children here, and the education they got, I can't say it put them 100% where they needed to be, because when we transfer systems, from Bogalusa City Schools to another system in another state, they were behind, and it's sad that that was in 2005, 2006, and it's sad that 20 years later, that's acceptable that you go through this system and you behind. I believe we have very good children. I believe there are a lot of things that have happened over there that were preventable. I believe it's a lot that wasn't, that we cannot blame the school for, we can't blame the teachers for, but I believe it's stuff over there that could be corrected. And I believe it's stuff over there that teachers are asked to do a lot for a little bit of money, especially when you see the administrative overhead and what those people are getting paid. And teachers are required to produce results, real results, especially the teachers in the classroom that are teaching the core subject English, math, science, social studies. You see some of these people in these extracurricular activities getting more money than the classroom teachers. It's just because of who they know and who they connected to. And they make up positions as they choose. So this salary study I keep talking about, money is potentially going to be lost in the system because of the way things are going in the world. That means they're going to have to get rid of people. Now, the man already said he's going to start over at the board office. So if he thought you told me something, get you a lawyer right now, because they going to, I guarantee you probably don't have any evaluation indicating any deficiency in your activity. So when the people that we know had to have something to do with this get together and decide who they need to cut because they think they talking, you ain't gonna have no job. Because that's how these folks work. So that's the one tidbit that I can give you from, was my sister over IT? She is not over IT. She is not, she's actually out with some health issues pertaining to her time at Bogalusa City Schools. We're trying to get her the help that she needs because it's a toxic work environment. I mean, it is what it is. That's been our experience with it. It's very toxic. It's kind of like a little mafia over there. But hey, when you in, you in. When you out, you out. And I'm pretty sure it's other people that can give a testimony to that being the situation. Um, oh, somebody said $300,000 for crawfish. Well, let me go on and go back to it because I don't want to. Let me see. Let me see if I can get back to it. Give me 1 second. I don't know what y'all can see because I'm out of it right now, but uh I'm going to backtrack a little bit. uh and again, I had screenshot a section of this and put it on the Bogle City Schools rebirth page. Let's see if I can go back. So they said 300,000. So what I actually said was that we have paid the Bailey Group 3 contracts, and you can go on this transparency website and poke it in. The contracts, all three of these contracts have the same start date and end date. We paid them 45,000, 181, 5, 135,000. I have said nobody else ain't running them that kind of money. Nobody. Plaquemines, most I see is 175. Look, everybody else. I mean, some of these systems. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Plaquemines, I'm wrong. Plaquemines got a whole bunch of these. New teacher coaching. We got 3 that just said teacher support services. So I don't know if that was just the 3 schools, but if you notice the amounts on these, they got several schools. I hope they did this with, but they ran them a lot of money. So somebody need to look at why Plaquemines gave these people all this money and what they got for it. St. Martin got a couple out here, but it ain't 300,000 for. We got 1,400 students, 400 and something I think at charter, 1,000 in Bogalusa proper, and we spent 300 and something $1,000 with these people for what? And yes, let's go back. I'm gonna give you that little tidbit. Let me stop sharing. What I said was, hold on, let me go find it. I said the good crawfish boil that they said the people paid for. The school system has 250 plus their spouse. That's 500 votes that we need to win a no vote. I didn't say it. Let's see which one is this. Let's see which picture is that. Oh, that's something else. Let's see. Yeah, all these folks is connected. All of them are connected. What I do with the picture? Oh well. You get the point. The point is that we just around here funding all kind of crazy activities. Meanwhile, we supposed to be having a gold medal year. This the gold medal year. It's almost graduation. Parents, your children's uh oh, there you go. This the other friend. Here y'all go. This the ICT friend. This the other friend. I told y'all it's a couple of them. He ICT. So the companies are related. CJL and ICT have some kind of relationship with each other. I showed y'all the pay stub, the 1099 after the contracts were signed. Somebody got some money from the folks, but all these people, and you see who he connected to, his friends. All these people getting information on the inside to be able to be competitive in sole source awards. 7,500 to CGLIT, 45,000, 42,000, and now we see on the website 39,000. That's three contracts, and they done renewed for this year. We don't know how much they done paid them this year. Can the finance team please let us know how much y'all done gave the people for this year? Could you please? Because I asked you about the contract. I asked you, what it was. So, listen, I've been at this for 1 hour and 5 minutes. Did the coach that had the claim against him get the sales tax? What coach? I don't know what coach had what claim. I don't know what that is. Can somebody give me some more details on that? What coach had a claim? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Of course. You think he didn't? You think that he did not get a sales tax check? He was an employee of the system. He resigned. You talking about yeah, he resigned. That's the thing with a resignation. At the time, that's why I keep asking what's the definition of eligible employee? They still have not defined it. And that's why it's so sad, that they thought they threw a bone to these uncertified teachers by giving them half the sales tax. The stuff that the manipulation of that money, it's wild. It's just wild. So yeah, he probably got every dime, and God knows for how many positions. Because I think he was in 3 jobs or something like that, doing all these jobs. So I really don't know. Yeah, I'm sure he was paid out sales tax, because I have not received the documentation of what's an eligible employee. I cannot find a board motion indicating that uncertified teachers were not to receive the money. The ordinance was restated in the last meeting. Not only in Bogle City Schools was it restated, it was restated at the parish level. And what they said is it had to be on the agenda at the same time. In the restated ordinance, there is no indication of excluding funds from anybody. None. It clearly says classroom teachers in support of the system. Support of the system is how they pay people who are outside the classroom, supporting the system. And that's why you have to pay attention to what's on the ballot this time. Now, I'm not, all I'm telling y'all is this time. Now, what I'm going to hammer home, because I'm not going to keep doing this right here is not how I like to do business. I don't like salacious things like this. It's not to my benefit. I don't think it benefits the kids, but at the same time, I want to teach them to be a credible source, and I hope these things were credible. I can send you everything I have, and you can go look for it. This was publicly posted. So I don't want to find myself. I want to talk. I want solutions. The solution I'm looking for out of this is I'm looking for the 7 people we elected this time to do their jobs, to go in here and ask about this stuff. Ask the finance team. Y'all ask them how this happened. What is going on with this? Ask them about all this money. Ask human resources. I mean, could somebody please give me an answer? Where was it voted on that uncertified teachers? Because I have gone back and looked at old meeting minutes, and this is why I'm very particular about those motions, because this is a rule making body. That's why these changes to this policy have me in an uproar, because there are some very good policies out there. Bogle City Schools has a policy that says that any sole source award over $10,000 is supposed to come to the board. None of these came to the board. None of them. I got audio out there where it was like, oh, we got ESSA funds, and I told Miss Walker, spend it all. It went to Greensburg, or it went to the Bailey Group, or it went to God knows what else. But we did not get any seats in the auditorium. We didn't get hot water over at the high school. We didn't get bathrooms at Bird Avenue, and I don't even know what's going on with Superior Avenue. It still looks good from the outside, but I think it's been closed for like a decade, so there's no telling what's going on over there. But they have all this real estate that they have not offloaded. The charter school one at Pleasant Hill like a year or so ago, it was still viable, but I think somebody went over there and bust all the windows out and stuff. So we have real estate to move our kids around. It's why somebody asked me to stop saying no, because they were like, the money is for the kids. And I'm telling y'all, yeah, okay. Okay. We need to start demanding that the money be for the kids. We need a board that keeps telling us that they are limited in what they can do. Well, they can hire the superintendent, they can fire the superintendent. They can look into these allegations about this money. They can go over there, they can take it for what it is and close their ears like they used to, like they've been doing. And they can stop listening to us as the people. You know what you can do? You know what you can do? First of all, if you have a passion for these kids, you need to run. Because see, they loading up the next set of people. I done peeped the game. You gotta watch what's happening now. All of a sudden, everybody coming out and your favorite teachers and your this and that, and they telling you what to do, and oh my God, it's so good for you. But when it's every meeting, when it's time to question what is going on, who do you see up there? And contrary to popular belief, I'm not pressed to be on that school board for a myriad of reasons, because North Shore Charter would have gave me a chance to be on their board. I told them no. I told them no for a myriad of reasons. Um, you know, it's a complex situation, but at the end of the day, y'all need to start running. You need to start running your mouth on Facebook, typing all this stuff, and you need to do something. Our kids are going back to a 4-day school week this next year. What system that is consistently in the lowest percentile goes to a longer school day, put has all these kids sitting at home, possibly with no supervision, has half a day tutoring, and then get mad when the same parents that you put in a predicament of a long day don't bring the kids to tutoring because they gotta go to work, or as y'all said, don't care. You do care, and you go up there and they just turn a blind eye. Y'all, we gotta get people to run that care, people that have the background to understand this stuff, because some people got stuck with some bad contracts. Like I said, I like the lady that's doing the food now. Please stop with them beans on Monday. My baby come back here one more time, and he tell me every Monday they have beans, and I go look at the menu and it's beans. Next year, please don't do that. Now, the lady is in a bad contract, so I'm really not bad mouthing her. I think she's done a great job of turning a lot of it around. Please get rid of the beans every Monday. I don't want to hear from him anymore. Here, but you know what? Don't acquiesce to him, because he might not be here anyway. But my point is that some things have changed. But we need a strategic plan, because they paid them people $120,000 for what they got out there now, and they have been paid in full, because that contract ended like in November or something. Those people have gotten every dime. And tell them what travel they got, this, that, and the third. We need people who understand where we want to be and a level of accountability that it takes to get there, because it's accountability that has to happen to get there, and that accountability has just been missing. People been running this system for 30 years. If you go back and look, oh, more pictures are coming in. What if you go back and you look and I can't see the pictures, y'all. I'm live, so I can't see it, but I'm gonna go back and look. If you go back and you look at the scores for Bogalusa for the last 10 years, ain't much done changed. But this kind of money went out the door. We got COVID kids. These teachers are putting up with COVID kids. They putting up with extreme poverty. They putting up with incarcerated parents. They putting up with all kinds of stuff. And then they got to teach. And then we telling them You didn't get a certification, but so and so, they certification or they temporary about the lapse, so they can go jump in a program. And I'm telling y'all, go on that transparency, oh not transparent, the certification website for teachers and poke in some names. You're gonna see some things, some things that you're gonna be like, now don't they give out checks in December and you done just got in a program in November and you gonna get the check? What is an eligible employee for that sales tax? So this on the ballot is something different. I went through that money with you. It is they projected to be 891,000 a year. I don't know how they came up with them projections. They was only getting about six off of it, and I think this year they had it budgeted for 742. So I don't know if I don't know where they get 891, perhaps over the 10 years time. But it's a lot going on. But we need people. We need these people gone. If you on this board now, we should not see you again. Some of y'all are term limited, so you can't come back. And it's a cycle. Like I said, go look at them old minutes. You're gonna see the same names. Either they was over here doing this or they on the board. You're gonna see them saying it. You gotta run. You cannot keep just clickety clacking on Facebook. And this is why I tried to get into about boycotts. Boycotts can be very effective. They are ineffective when the only thing they are is on these keys. You gotta come to those school board meetings. You gotta hold these people accountable. So next year is the board election. This has to stop. This has to stop. This right here, this can't go on. Now they're gonna fight, they're gonna get rid of some people. A rift is imminent. Trust me when I tell you, a rift is imminent. We done seen the language. A rift is imminent. Reduction in force. So y'all watch your back. Watch your back over there. Um, Teachers don't necessarily make good school board for the very reason that you are saying. Renika has a background contract. I gotta disagree with that because I'm not I'm an educator of sorts, but I'm not an educator because I've learned things from people who've seen me, in this fight, who've been encouraging. People have challenged me. I am grateful. It may not seem that way when we're going back and forth. I'm grateful to the people that are like, look, our school system is fantastic and blah 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 blah, and they have their rationale for it. Your what you believe matters too. It's not just about me. It's about you too. And a lot of those people are in the trenches. So some of my stuff is from a high level view. That's why I don't try to come in here and say that just shut the system down. There are very real reasons why the system should exist, and I could get into those. But again, I don't see a whole lot of questions left out there. I hope I addressed quite a bit of them. I don't have a personal vendetta against anybody. Everything that I gave you tonight is verifiable. I have no reason to lie on anybody. I don't have any reason to make this story up. I have been trying to get the 7 people that we elected to do their job. Do the job that we elected them to do. Hold people accountable. Hold this person accountable. And it did not just start with him. Let's be clear. Renika is not saying that because it's some stuff I can show you. Like somebody ask him about the lawn, the maintenance contract that's out there. Did anybody see any advertisement for cutting the grass over at the school? But they got a contract for that. I seen a man cutting the grass, and I'm thinking, I don't think he work at the school system. These things, ask them how these things are coming about. Because when you go on LDOE site, says anything over 30,000 should be this. Bogalusa City Schools uses this procurement code. I read. Kids, please, if you don't learn anything else from me, I don't care what system you are in, please learn to read. Your teacher means the best for you when they tell you to learn to read. Because when they want to get over you, they put it in a book or they write it somewhere because you're not going there. And your attention spans are short and you need a video. Please, I implore you, please read. Read. Reading will take your mind places that, these little short stories cannot. Your teachers mean the best for you when they tell you to read. They're not trying to embarrass you. They're not trying to hurt you. When they hold you back because you can't read, because a lot of third graders are going to get held back, it's for your benefit. I had 2 children that came out of the system. We came from private school. They were ahead. When we left Bogalusa City Schools, they were behind. I got them tutors. I got them this in all their travels in life, through the good and the bad. They will tell you that the ability to read saved them sometimes for some things. Because these people, when you go into court or you this and that, they're gonna put a whole lot of stuff in front of you and they're gonna summarize. Do not read the summarization. If your life is on the line, you take the time to read every line. If you don't understand, you ask questions. You get those questions documented. I get the questions documented because it's important. It's imperative. It may not seem that it's a game changer. It puts you in so much better position, and then being able to add uh on top of it, oh, you a beast with it. So please, kids, I was not coming on here tonight to be vulgar. If anybody got on here looking for that, you weren't gonna get that. But I'm gonna go back to tonight's story. Just a little story. We need our board to give us justice. They have the power to ask about these things. To and I can file ethics complaints, and I will, a few other complaints and lawsuits. But at the end of the day, we have 7 people that sit in a seat that can ask the questions that need to be asked. Why? 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 Priorities. Why we got a curriculum coach and we done paid 350,000 for somebody to train these folks. We're paying a lot of money for that. A lot of money for that position. Why? What has it got us? The 3.4% increase was not for academics. It was for opportunities and interest credit, for the things that we're trying to do through the STEM Center. So for the people in the community, if you are of the mindset, again, that we're here to be in competition with anybody, we got beef with, I don't, we do not. We are people who this system means something to us. This system, again, has been the foundation for the success that we enjoy in this world. People, I went to the rally several years, Bogalusa City Schools, in multiple subjects. Didn't always do the best, but I went and I spent a lot of time with a lot of teachers, and it changed my life. Changed my life from Miss Barnes to biology, Miss Noto to geometry. I went in, did I go in civics one year? I think I went in civics one year. I think I went for a couple of subjects another year, but we don't hear about those things. I try to get the ROTC, I try to get the school to focus on cybersecurity. They sending the kids to a physical activity test, but we don't get them to the cybersecurity, the mental challenges. They're getting 30 somethings on that. You only need a 35, I think, to join the army. They can't get a 35 on the ASVAB. All of our assessments were an F. We are below the state average in ACT, but we could change these things around. We have people here. We're gonna lose people. We're gonna lose teachers. You wanna know why? Hostile work environment. Hostile work environment. It ain't hard to figure out. It ain't hard to figure out, especially when you're playing with the money and they see other people getting paid and they not getting paid. It would you don't play with my money. No, we not we not friends. We not cool. We not good. Especially these contracts. This the kind of money that's walking out the door and you nickel and diming people over money that's an ordinance that's written for them to get the money. Oh, you wrong for that. You wrong for that. Dirty shame. Dirty shame. Now I'm gonna check for the last little bit of uh information, and absolutely friends and family ain't new. Look at who been running the system for years. Look at it. Look, it ain't hard to figure out. These people are not doing these things without help. It's not possible. I am there to be a technical representative. I read those contracts because that's what I'm paid to do. I'm paid to advise that what's the content that's in them, the work that's to be done, to evaluate the work. And that's why I'm telling you about the people that you have. They have to be able to evaluate these work. But who is really going to evaluate what's going on when it's your supervisor's friend, the person who can fire you friend? You really think that they can go in there and tell them the truth about what's going on? No, it's not going to be heard. It's not gonna be heard. And the money is just gone. It's gone. Weddings, trips, blah, school, class donations, blah, 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 blah. We just, I said it before and I say it again. They got a song about it. I've been a fool for you. Gave me the runaround. And we just a fool. We fool, or it's a special kind of fool. I don't know. But justice would be our board, our board, the 7 elected people asking questions. Go to this website. If you go to the website, go to contracts, type in Bogalusa, go to the certification page. Like I said, we'll put it up. But this is crazy. It's crazy. It's got to stop. It's got the focus has got to be on actual academics, and we have got to stop being a slush fund, a funding mechanism for everybody else to walk away. We got to start grooming talent to stay here, to purchase homes here, to be workers here. Even if they commute and come back, we've got to create a town that's worthy of our people. If not, we educating you to leave, and we educating you to the lowest standard. And the only people that's going to be able to stick around here is the people that cannot make it somewhere else. And that's not what we want. We want thinkers who are going to create job opportunities. In chaos, they say is the biggest opportunity to create jobs. We want thinkers who are going to go to the military and become a middle class and purchase properties here. We want thinkers who are going to go to college. What recruiting efforts do you ever see Bogle City Schools go to look for teachers, to look for certified teachers? Look at half the people that come here know somebody, and they come here through that person. I want to know what's the standard for being the teacher of the year, because y'all done told about 50 things about that. Do you even have to work at the school for a whole calendar year to be teacher of the year? Now that's just how much y'all talking about, how we are allowing things to happen. It looks good in the meeting, but when you get to the bottom of it, you're like, nah, come on now. Come on now. Did y'all really do that? Did y'all really do that? Did y'all really, teacher of the year for a couple months? Come on now. Up against a teacher that's been there for several years and done several things. Come on, Bogle City Schools. We can't have this. So that is all the talking that I'm going to do. Um, I hope that this has been informative. This is produced by Washington Parish STEM. This I will not be on for a while. I'm not. This is not how this is gonna go. This is not my thing. This is not how I do business. But I know y'all heard me tonight. Oh, you act like you couldn't hear me before, but I know y'all hear this. If this caught your eye, this is it. Our voting is tomorrow, May 3rd, for this millage. But what we really need is for you to vote next year. Vote everybody out. If you connected to the people that's in that, you gotta go. Don't even get on the ballot. It needs to be that way. In this 4-day school week, it's the worst thing ever. Absolute disaster, disaster, disaster. We need to start talking about mental health in the schools. We need to really talk about discipline in the schools. We need a superintendent that's going to come out and talk to the people, not just be on podcasts, because he ain't coming on mine. He ain't invited. I don't want him on mine. I don't want him on mine because I don't even want to fight with the man publicly. It ain't worth it to me. And it ain't worth it to me to put him in that kind of position. So let him go on the other podcast. And no, I hope that those people stop just talking and start producing actual receipts, or make him produce receipts. It's opinions, but it need to be some facts up in there too. So like I said, everything I have presented tonight, I can make available to you. And it's my understanding through the chat that y'all making stuff available that I ain't even got. So you know what it is. But at the end of the day, we need to start holding people accountable, and we need to turn our system around. We need our community to believe in us. If we want the people to come back that's the left, it's going to take a whole lot more than what it is. If we want to build new schools, it's got to be me and 50,000 other people like me. All of you around here, ain't nobody building no new school to take old bad habits. So you need to talk to your kids. We want them to have bathrooms at work, but at the same time, it's got to be some accountability. What my girl Kat say, some of y'all just need to sit down with your kids and talk to them, because she said you wouldn't have any place to live if it wasn't for your kids. So if they don't mean nothing else to you, and you want to keep a roof over your head, you better get your kid in line. You better talk to them. You better be honest in these IEP meetings. You better come to these dibbles meetings, because the schools, you can't 100% blame the schools. I'm up there all the time, and these people trying to tell y'all all kind of stuff. Now, some other stuff they could tell you that they ain't telling you. But on cursory, they up here trying to tell you that your baby don't know phonics. They up here trying to tell you your baby can't read. They up here trying to tell you your baby can't add. And they need to start holding your baby back. I'm sorry. They need to hold them back. I don't mean to be mean or rude to anybody, but sometimes we need a do-over. And in that do-over, We need some reinforcement. The class size is entirely too big. 20 something kids in the class is too big to be in the 60s. Come on, reduce that down to 15 something. But if we had a recruiting effort to go look for teachers, if we went to some of these jobs, these recruiting fairs and these schools, and we just wasn't just at Bogle City schools, and we wouldn't just go over to schools to across the street to North Shore Technical College and offer them just to be a substitute. If we actually went and looked for people, we probably could reduce class size. If they're going to reduce overhead, we need to look at what kind of classroom teachers we have. Stop making t-shirt pushes. Some of these certifications need to really be looked at for what they actually are and pay according to that. Stop overpaying people because they connected or you like them. Nah, that's time out for that. We need a change, a real change. So vote, 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 vote. I am grateful to talk to you guys, Bogalusa. Um, this will be on YouTube after this is over. Have a great night. And please, I implore you to go look at this stuff and read it for yourself. Do not just take my word for it. If you're a believer, you're a believer. If you're not, you're not. It ain't gonna change your mind. But hey, I tried. That's all I can do is try. And we do want to get to solutions. So that is why I'm gonna end this by saying this is not the approach that I will take going forward. I will go back to the regular format of trying to inform you as much as I can in the method that I do, but because this not how I like to do business, but it's necessary. It's very necessary. It's very necessary for you to understand how important your vote is, how important your vote is, and how important it is to listen, to read, to be able to add. So thank you, Bogalusa. Be blessed. Have a great night.